Hello, my name's Diane and I'm with the Portland Film Festival. Thank you for joining us for today's workshop. This is From Short Film to Feature Film, The Life of a Story with writer-director Catherine Dudley-Rose. Now, Catherine, will you please just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your film?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I had the wonderful fortune of being at Portland Film Festival in 2018 with my first feature film, Parallel Chords. It is on Blu-ray and DVD for those of you who still like old school hard copies. You should probably know that if you're trying to do your own film, that will be, and you try to get some revenue, that will be a way that you can really get a nice return versus streaming these days, which is very tiny. It's only like maybe 3 cents per hour viewed. So people should maybe know that. So today I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about how I went from having no money and making a short film into making this feature that I'm now saying, oh, and you want to try and get some revenue for. My first feature film was written before the short. So a lot of people are going to probably have a short in mind that are watching this and they want to expand it to a feature. But you'll find that there are also a lot of people, I mean, I've been on the festival circuit for years with different projects, and you'll find that people have a feature in mind, but it's so big that how are you going to raise the money to really, do this thing that you really want to do? So I'm a longtime New Yorker who moved to St. Louis for love. That's where I am now. And when I was in New York, I was doing a lot of different things to pay the bills, like most filmmakers. A lot of people are, they make their money like in commercial work, or they're editing, or they're doing DP stuff. I'm more in the zone of teaching, doing voiceovers, acting, writing for other people, making music for other people's projects as well. So wear a lot of the arts hats, and they all come together really nicely with film. So I was getting a little frustrated with, I was acting, but in between acting, you're doing a lot of other jobs. And I already had been writing short stage plays, actually, and things that were getting produced, and I was asked to direct a lot, even though I hadn't really sought out directing. And at one point I wrote this feature, and I didn't really think that anything would come from it. Honestly, I actually had no money whatsoever, and I wanted to win this competition so I could pay some bills. So I wrote the screenplay, and it was loosely autobiographical. And I had done a solo performance piece on stage as an actor that had elements that were in Parallel Chords. And it deals with a complicated father-daughter relationship. My father was a classical concert pianist, and I grew up in a house of music playing violin very early with him. And I wanted to do other things, but I also respected his art. And so if any of you have seen the film Whiplash, it's sort of like Parallel Chords is like a father-daughter twist on Whiplash. And if you haven't seen Whiplash, see Parallel Chords, and then you'll know, because it's free here at Portland Film Festival. Yay. But yeah, anyway, I wasn't sure if I'd be alone here, so I'm just kind of launching into the whole story of how this all kind of comes together. And when I wrote this feature, it was kind of something that was like bottled up inside for a while. And after doing a stage solo performance piece, a lot of people asked me, oh, can you just do this as like it was a 20-minute piece at that time. Can you do a full, hour or so and tour around as a solo performance piece? And emotionally, I said, absolutely not. Like, that was it. I'm done with that. But I started to have visuals that I could imagine this story, capturing. It just was a much more visual thing. So I would put those visuals in a file, and I, hadn't written it yet, but it was all kind of like being written in my head. And this imagery, I just kept putting more and more images in this folder. And then when I finally wrote the feature, I handed it to a lot of other writers who were much more established than I was, just to get two things. a free copy. I said, could you get me a free copy and give me some feedback? Because a copy of script's like $10 just to even, get a nice copy out. And, we still did a lot of paper when I first wrote this. So anyway, it ended up me trying to get some input, me entering a competition, and suddenly a lot of people really liked it who were, like I said, way more established than me. And I ended up optioning the feature in the very beginning, my first feature film, I ended up optioning it. For those of you who don't know what that is, it just means that producers see your work, your script, and they give you hopefully some money. They give you a little bit of money, or maybe a lot, who knows, to have the rights to then take that around, shop that around, try to raise money for your film. So a lot of people were kind of excited for me. I was excited for me. Everybody was like, yeah, this is so great. And I had Emmy Award-winning cinematographer who wanted to direct it. And I had the Coen brothers interested in co-producing it because of this cinematographer. His name is Frank Prinzi, and he had done a lot of the Northern Exposure show. Again, this is probably before a lot of people, younger people's time, but very, very talented DP. And I guess the Coen brothers had said, if you ever find a feature that you want to shoot, we would love to co-produce as long as your producers can raise at least $1 million. So my first producers were line producers, and they really thought that they could definitely raise $1 million. Let's pause there for a second. We all think we can raise $1 million, right? So, well, they had a hard time doing that. I signed a 2-year option, and we searched for that million. And I had a lot of exciting meetings, and I had people that actually offered to pay 6 figures to buy the script. It was just this exciting thing, but there was also not a lot of women's films out there. And the film itself has some interesting, challenging elements of consent and control. And, it's written in a very visually surreal way. So it's tackling intimate emotional things, but doing it in a kind of like, we go inside instruments, like a girl might be trapped inside a violin and trying to peek out, and there might be crashing pianos. So all kinds of visuals that are definitely cost some money. So initially my producers were hoping for this small film to be made for somewhere between $3 and $5 million. And this is what everybody thought was the perfect amount for it. And like I said, it was exciting 2 years, but it also started getting very taxing because those meetings were great, but I still didn't have anything on the screen to show for it. So I kept doing a lot of other things, like most of us. And time went by. I optioned it again actually I optioned it to the same people for an extended period of time. And then another producer after that as well. And then I took the rights back for myself, and I put together a bit of a teaser, if you will, not even the short film, but just a little bit of a teaser to kind of like showcase the fact that there are very talented people with not a lot of money, and that we could put this together really well. So, so that was interesting. But then I also all of a sudden moved to St. Louis for love. And so life totally changed, and I kind of had to start from zero and figure out who are the creative people around me. And so I had this feature that was unmade that I had optioned and had some success with. The strength of the script allowed me to get commissioned to write 3 other screenplays. So that was really cool. I could write other people's stories and get paid a little bit of money. So, but still the baby was not, had not come. So anyway, I just started seeking out who are these creative, talented people around me, and could we possibly take this giant 120-page script and turn it into something doable. And so that's kind of how I approached it. I ended up really liking a local cinematographer's work, and she didn't know it yet, but I was kind of vetting her, and we started working together on some much smaller projects, like a National Film Challenge project, and we won for our category. And I would do these little nature films with my iPhone and some old editing tools that I had, you know, and some footage that I had from New York. I just started mixing things and making these tiny little projects, and kept pushing these tiny projects out there. When I say tiny, I mean like 5 minutes, and then 8 minutes, and then 10 minutes. And so I did some music with this DP for some of her things. And then I finally showed her the feature after we'd worked on like 3 things together. And I was like, yes, this is definitely the person that I want to talk to about this. I never planned on directing my film ever, ever, ever. But yeah, time just kind of pushes you in certain ways. But anyway, so I gave her the feature and I said, is there any way we could possibly make a short of this? What do you think? And so it's the kind of film where it's not like you could just pull one scene. It's very textured and very layered. And so we took the feature and we put 2 different elements of the story together, and then ran them like back to back, and made this 13-minute short film. And the short film was successful enough that it went to a lot of festivals. And one of the things that I did was on the screen, and this is what I think would be really useful to you all if you do have a feature but you don't have the money for the feature and you want to do a short first, is that at the end of the screen I would put, based on a feature length film, parallel chords. So after we would have the showings of the short all over the country, I would talk, you know, usually do a little Q&A afterwards. And it was very obvious that I was planning to do a feature. So one of the other things that I kind of wanted to cover today is that everyone wants to get into Sundance. Everyone wants to get into, you know, some of the big festivals and whatnot, but you're not all going to get into those. And so, you know, some of the other festivals, such as Portland, you know, you can be at a different kind of festival and present a short film and have something on the screen like that that says based on a feature. And you might actually have somebody come up and hand you their card who says, when you're ready to do the feature, I would like to invest. So that was what happened with me. It wasn't actually Portland, but it was another festival. It was not a place I had planned to go with the short, because it's kind of a remote place. It was South Dakota, actually. And they had let me know that I would be receiving an award there. And that was actually for music in the short film. And while I was there, after that screening, you know, a woman came up to me, and just like I just said, you know, when you're ready to do the feature, let me know, I would like to invest. And so I'm not saying that's going to happen to everybody, but it does help you if you do a short version of a bigger idea that you have, to kind of get it out there and see, A, if it works, and B, if anyone out there might want to help you financially. Now, if you have a nice bankroll already, then you might not have a problem. But I should maybe pause and say, Diane, did you want to ask me anything? I couldn't tell if you, oh no, you're sneezing. Sorry. Okay. It's okay. No, get a Kleenex. No, it's totally fine. Okay. So let's see. Yes. So you could get an investor from doing some screenings in some places that you might never imagine. Why would this place be a place that helps you? And so, yeah, from being able to push the short out there and show it around, we ended up actually using even the same, I don't know, this could go both ways, but we kind of ended up using even the same imagery and the same font for the short as the feature, so that it's kind of like, you know, building on and more people knowing about it. I know some people are really savvy with social media and they have, you know, huge fun. I'm like, oh, something unusual is happening. Should I pause? Oh no, should I just keep going? Okay. So anyway, if you do have a very large following already, then, you know, maybe you do want to change up the look between a short and a feature. But if you're someone like me, who I'm usually with people in person, I don't spend a lot of time on social media. And so my 100 people might turn into 200 or 300 or 400 if, you know, it takes a little bit more time for someone like me who might have a smaller audience. So anyway, these are just some things that taking that journey, I think people, you know, like I said, not everybody gets into the bigger festivals, and you just don't know what a smaller festival might bring you. So besides the wonderful investor situation that I told you about, it's also filmmakers. So I've you know, made lots of connections with other filmmakers that starts to become your sort of like a foundation underneath you. You'll find people that like-minded people, you know, kind of band and bond together, and so you can kind of lean on each other a little bit as you're trying to climb up. So that's a little bit of what I thought might be helpful to share. And I was guessing if there might be questions. I thought it would be live, so I was guessing if there might be questions, this would be a good time for that. But we are probably not in that zone. Maybe Diane has some. Or maybe not.
Sorry, the festival director is trying to call me right now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. He always knows when I'm in a workshop.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can even, if there's anything, you know, we could even stop within the half hour. I just thought that it would be helpful for people to know that, you know, there are ways that you can go about this monumental task that is so huge, and doing a short first can help you, especially if you push it out into the festivals and you start to let people know what your true intentions are of trying to get this feature done. So
yeah, I think that's great. We can go ahead and yeah, thank you very much for doing this, and thank you for watching and joining us. Please check out Parallel Chords, available through the Portland Film Festival at portlandfilm.org through November 8th. And also on Comcast, just grab your Flex remote and say Portland Film Festival, and you'll see all our great films that are on Comcast. Thank you.